Hi everyone, I'll be starting first. So first and foremost, good afternoon and thanks for taking the time out to join us today. Welcome to series 1 of our Prime Day webinar. And today we are going to be talking about how you can get ready for Prime Day 2023 with Fulfillment by Amazon. To do a brief introduction of myself, I'm Ethan, account manager at Amazon Global Selling, supporting sellers like yourself to sell across to our North America marketplaces. Before we get into the details, do take note that this session will be recorded, so don't worry if you did not catch the full presentation. You can watch it on demand. And we will be sending you a follow-up email after this webinar with the recording link so that you'll be able to watch it anytime. And if you have any question, feel free to jot them down in a questions box and I will answer them at the end of this session. So here's the agenda for today. I'll be introducing FBA and I'll go through the tools and its benefits really quickly for the benefit of those who are unsure of what FBA is all about. I will be covering our 2023 new selection program for new to FBA ASINs. And after that, I'll briefly share about how you can create an FBA shipment and how you can manage your IPI score and inventory dashboard. And lastly, which is I think the most important part, I will be sharing more about the Prime Day FBA cut-off date for this year and how you can manage the timeline from now till then. Okay, so let me quickly talk about fulfillment by Amazon. So here are the two main ways you can fulfill your orders to your customers. So firstly, it would be fulfillment by merchant. This means fulfilling the orders by yourself. As you can see from the table, as a seller, if you decide to fulfill the orders by yourself, you'll need to prepare each order. You'll need to answer customers' questions in each marketplace local language within 24 hours. You'll also need to provide customers a return address information in the US. Let's say if you have a returns and exchange. And the other option, it's what I'm gonna be focusing on today, which is fulfillment by Amazon. So if you use FBA, Amazon will help to process the order, pack it and deliver it to your customers. Amazon will help you answer all the customer queries coming in. And lastly, Amazon will also help you manage the returns and refund process. So you basically do not have to handle anything that is like last mile logistics or customer service on your end. So by using FBA, you can quickly scale up your business and let Amazon do the heavy lifting for you. Usually, I always tell my seller, using FBA is like having a logistic intern or a headcount in the US helping you manage all your logistic issues. Here are the 6 key benefits of using FBA. So in the long run, you can save on fulfillment costs because if you are shipping in bulk, usually you'll be able to get preferential rate from your logistic couriers. You'll be able to reach out to millions of Prime members. And most of our customers in the US are actually Prime members. So when they purchase item, they like to filter by the Prime badge and in order to see which other items they can receive within 2 days, right? So especially if your product is in a it's more competitive and there are a lot of like competitors, it's very important to you for you to use FBA so that your listing will remain competitive. And the others I've briefly mentioned earlier on, basically Amazon will help you handle last mile delivery, the 24/7 customer support and returns and exchanges. So people who order FBA product will be eligible for free shipping and also your listing will automatically become eligible for Prime. So being on FBA helps you to increase the chances of winning the buy box. So what I mean by the buy box is this add to cart sign. Right. If you do not have the buy box, sometimes when you see your listing, it does not have this sign, then people will need to click in, see all options in order to purchase your offer. And one good thing is eligible products that are on FBA will be labeled with the Prime badge. So this is where customers will know that they'll be able to receive their product fast. And another good thing is the fact that you'll be able to run Prime exclusive discount for customers during Prime Day. So this particular feature is only exclusive for FBA sellers. Okay, now I'll be going through our FBA new selection program. If you haven't already adopted FBA, do take note that we have our FBA new selection program and the benefits have been refreshed this year. So these are actually the exclusive benefits that have been curated by our internal teams to help you offset some of the initial startup costs to get on board FBA. So in essence, right, new to FBA ASINs will qualify limited time free monthly storage, removal, liquidation, and returns processing. In general, if you're a new seller that have launched your first viable FBA ASIN this year, you will be automatically enrolled in this program. For existing sellers, means if you have launched 2021 and before, it's likely that you might have to manually enroll yourself into this program in order to enjoy these benefits for your new to FBA ASINs. Here is the new highlights for 2023 program. So these are the two key points that I would like to share. So firstly, the rebate will be increasing up to 10% on sales. We calculate the rebate based on your product category, and we will account for the referral fees that are charged in order to provide you with a rebate roughly between 0% and 12%. So this rebate will be applied onto your fulfillment fees the following month that it is earned. So on the other hand, in summary, there will be additional storage, liquidation, and removal for new parent ASINs. So don't worry about all these details. I'll share with you the QR code at the end of this session for you to get to the help page. And we'll also be sharing this information after the webinar via email. So don't worry if you didn't catch it or it might seem quite daunting. Yeah. So this is a summarized table of what you'll get. So in general, all new sellers that start selling this year will be eligible for FBA new selection program automatically. For existing sellers, there will be a stricter criteria which you have to adhere to, and here is the seller eligibility as well as the ASIN eligibility criteria. Yeah, again, don't worry if you don't catch everything. We'll send it via a follow-up email. And if you have an account manager, and I believe most of you here will have one, you can reach out to your account manager to ask more about this program details and how you can enroll yourself into this program as well. So this is just an example we have done up to help you understand the benefits of this program better. So this is a seller selling shoes and have inbounded 50 units into our fulfillment center. Assuming there are 2 return units and 1 liquidated unit from a damaged order, with our sandbox program in place, this $26 FBA storage liquidation return fees will be totally offset. Okay, now let me bring you through the steps to create an FBA shipment. So these are the 6 steps in total, and most of you, if not all, would have completed step 1, which is to get a seller account, right? So the second thing you need to do, if you haven't already done so, is to create a product listing. Only then you'll be able to create a shipment plan in order to send to our fulfillment center. So which is step 3 to 5. After that, you will need to adhere to our packaging and preparation guidelines, as well as the shipping and routing guidelines, to make sure that your products are well labeled, well packed, and your logistic provider takes the appropriate method in order to get your shipment across to our fulfillment center safely. So I'll leave this slide here for a while for you to scan. But again, don't worry, we're sending the links in the follow-up email if you can't scan, or if you can't scan in time. Okay, I'll move on to the next slide. So here are the 4 key things that I will recommend you to take note if you're getting your FBA inventory, or rather your inventory ready for shipment this Prime Day. So the number 1 thing you have to take note of is plan ahead for your shipping, because get your shipping rates in advance. The shipping costs will fluctuate depending on the season. So to help you save costs and ensure that you do not also miss the Prime Day FBA cut-off date, I would recommend you to understand the rates and plan your shipment in advance. So reach out to your logistic courier in advance to get the quotation. Secondly, make sure you choose a logistic company that is familiar with the FBA inbounding process. Means they should be able to cover your custom brokerage and also provide importer of record service. And they should be able to schedule an appointment with our fulfillment center to drop off your shipment. The last point is especially important is because we have heard some sellers that engage smaller logistic players and the company failed to book an appointment with our fulfillment center to check in the shipment. So the general rule of thumb, if you don't know which logistic provider to reach out to, you may engage those common ones or more popular logistic providers such as DHL, UPS, and also FedEx. And alternatively, you may also reach out to our service provider network to engage with some of the Amazon accredited couriers. And next, if you are doing last minute replenishment, you may engage with express delivery services from the popular ones like UPS, DHL, FedEx to ship in your goods fast so that you will be able to check in your shipment on time. And lastly, regardless of whether you're shipping by air or sea, make sure that your contracted logistic provider is able to provide you with a tracking number of the delivery so that you can upload this onto your Seller Central shipment plan. This will help you to ease and expedite the check-in process. Okay, so the peak season may have some form of an impact on like port operations, trucking, logistic, and warehousing. So because everybody want to inbound and restock at the same time, right? So there might be even like shortages, price increases, and also delays. More time might be required for cross-border fulfillment, transit. And that's why I will highly recommend you to start reaching out to your logistic provider if you haven't already done so. There are multiple like shipping methods which you should be able to find out from your preferred logistic provider. For instance, if you want to do sea shipment, generally I will factor in a 1.5 to 2 months delivery time. And if the FBA cutoff date is in mid-June, I'll probably start sending in my shipment anytime these 2 weeks, just so that I'll be able to use sea shipment. Otherwise, maybe you might be too late and you might need to consider the more expensive shipping method. Okay, now let me share with you how you can manage your IPI score as well as your inventory dashboard. So what IPI means, it actually stands for the Inventory Performance Index, and it is the indicator of health of your inventory. So the more efficient your inventory management is, the more profit you'll achieve. And also for sellers who manage your inventory well, typically pay lesser storage fees against total sales. So it's very important to manage your inventory well on Amazon to avoid all the extra costs. So in general, holding stock for best-selling stocks and holding like having efficient management of all your existing inventory can help you drive sales more effectively. IPI scores is also calculated based on your ability to manage your inventory and drive sales. So by looking at like the range over here, you roughly know where you are at. Again, do take note that new sellers that have recently launched your product this year may not see a IPI score yet because there are insufficient historical data. Usually it will appear maybe after 13 weeks of sale, so that's after maybe 3 months-ish. And also a healthy week of coverage should be around 8 weeks, which you should have sufficient inventory to cover at least 2 months of sale velocity. This will be a good gauge to see if your inventory is decent or not. But because Prime Day is like upcoming, right? And Prime Day maybe it might be in end of June or early of July. We are not too sure yet. Usually the actual date will only be announced maybe few weeks before. So if you want to take July as a ballpark, it's important to take note that if you are shipping in your inventory, you need to make sure that you have enough inventory to kind of like feed the demand till August, ideally, 1 month after Prime Day. So how do you know what's your IPI score? For those some of the sellers that already can see something like that on your inventory performance dashboard, you can find these under inventory performance, seller central, then head over to inventory planning. So here are the four key factors which will impact IPI, and sellers like yourself can improve these few matrix in order to improve your IPI score. So firstly, it will be excess inventory. Secondly, it will be sell-through percentage. Third will be stranded inventory. And fourth will be in-stock percentage. And I will be going into more details in subsequent slides. So first and foremost, how to reduce excess inventory. So typically, like as a good gauge, usually excess inventory means that you have stocks that is above like 180 days, I would say. Less than 180 days is like still okay. If you have too much excess inventory, I'll recommend you to first run heavy discounts or promotions during our tier 1 events like Prime Day, or you may consider adjusting your selling price, and you'll be able to see again this dashboard in your inventory health page, or you can download the inventory health report. So next will be the sell-through rate. So how can you increase your sell-through rate and accelerate your inventory turnover? So FBA sell-through rate is your units sold and shipped over the past 90 days divided by the average number of units available at the fulfillment center during this time period. So take note, you don't have to calculate this manually. I put this formula here just for you to understand how it is being automatically calculated on Seller Central, just so you know the logic behind this. This is a rolling 12-week value, and this is one of the most important metrics for IPI improvement. So sell-through is also about maintaining a balance at all time, the whole year, even during off-season period. And a healthy sell-through rate year-round means that you are keeping your popular stock or popular product in stock at the right levels. And ideally, you are removing any unproductive inventory that is generating minimal to no sales. Okay. Yeah, so if you need to improve your sell-through rate, if it's actually low, you can see an example of this module in your inventory performance dashboard. And you simply have to click improve sell-through, and there are a couple of recommendations in the drop-down button that kind of like recommends you what are the few actions you can take in order to increase the sell-through rate of a particular product. So it's on the ASIN level. So in summary, there are two main ways to improve your sell-through rate. So firstly, it will be to increase your sales, definitely to balance your inventory volume. So you can leverage on things like outlet deals, advertising, merchandising resources, or reducing price to increase your sales. And secondly, it would be to remove inventory that is not selling based on your sales velocity. So do note that recent and consistent high volumes of inbounded inventory may impact your sell-through rate if your volume of sales is not increasing at the same rate over the same time period. So ideally, take a look at your dashboard maybe when your IPI is available, maybe 3 or 4 months after you start selling for a start. Yeah, it will be a good gauge. So the next one will be fixed stranded inventory. I think usually this wouldn't happen to most seller unless, let's say, if you inbound your inventory already, then you suddenly delete your listing and this inventory might be stranded. So this stranded inventory will impact your IPI score because once a listing is stranded, it means that the inventory is incurring storage fees while not generating any sales. So it's very, very important to fix your stranded inventory really quickly so that you can maximize the effect on IPI. So let's say if you have the notification to fix stranded inventory, I recommend you to click into it. And usually over there, it offers a couple of reasons why a product is stranded and some of the key actions you can take to fix it. So if you see the screen, it'll show the stranded reason. And for instance, if it's deleted listing, they'll prompt you to create a new listing. Yeah. So just take note that if an item remains stranded for more than 30 days, it will be automatically removed. So any inventory stored in the FC that couldn't bring sales in general will impact your IPI. So if you have a stranded inventory, please try to fix it as soon as possible. Lastly, it would be to restock reasonable quantity at reasonable frequency. So even if your product is very hot selling, I don't recommend you to inbound inventory that will cover the sales velocity for the whole year because you might be paying redundant storage fee, right? So in an ideal world, just inbound enough to cover the sales velocity for every 2 to 3 months, right? So FBA in stock rate tells you that indicates how well you replenish your inventory to meet the demand of our customers. So this in-stock rate itself is not a direct input into IPI score, and a low in-stock rate does not negatively impact IPI unless your most popular product consistently go out of stock. And the products that remain in stock have low sales, are aged or overstock. So there are a couple of factors that like affect this score. So again, the table and calculations you see on this slide is just an example of how Amazon helps you to calculate this figure automatically. Don't worry, you do not have to calculate this yourself. This figure will, or the percentage, in fact, will be flashed in your inventory planning dashboard to tell you what is your in-stock rate. Okay, so the how does FBA in-stock rate impact your IPI? Your in-stock rate indicates how much value you're getting out of your products by staying in stock on replenishable ASINs. So for example, if you go out of stock on a popular product, your lost sales represent a missed opportunity to increase your IPI. Just take note that a delay or failure of replenishment in the short term due to like shortage of stock will not result in a reduction in IPI score. But if you do not replenish your popular product, and if your remaining inventory has low sales or is unproductive, your IPI score will be affected. Yeah. So just make sure that you keep your popular products in stock while sending in fewer products that have low sales or are unproductive. So here's just a summary of a couple of pointers on how to improve and lower your IPI score. So firstly, leverage on advertising and discounts to improve your sell-through rate or deplete excess stocks. Secondly, remove aged inventory to avoid long-term storage fees. These are excess stocks with no demand. Thirdly, replenish best-selling product in small quantities but higher frequency. Lastly, remove inventory with zero or poor sales. So only if you have exhausted all the advertising and merchandising tools but is unable to deplete the inventory. Typically, inventory removal will be kind of like the last resort that I would recommend sellers to take. Okay. Okay, now this is the most exciting part, which is the Prime Day FBA cut-off date. So this is kind of like a very detailed step-by-step guidance on what you should do at every step of the way. But don't worry, we have a summarized version for you. So typically by end of April, for sellers that haven't decided what products you want to sell, please decide on which product you want to sell and liaise with your manufacturer to secure the goods by end April. So by early May, start to ship in your shipment into our fulfillment center so that if let's say if you use sea shipment, which will take about 1 to 1.5 months, you'll reach ideally before the cutoff date. And thirdly, we'll be sending out communications on how you can actually participate in Prime Day promotions. Typically for new sellers, we'll recommend you to run a Prime exclusive discount or coupon about 20% off. So do factor that into your pricing strategy. You'll definitely need to run a minimum of 20% off to gain like the Prime Day badge or more visibility during our event. And lastly, the FBA cut-off date is 15 June. So this means that if you haven't already stocked in your products, you haven't started selling, please make sure that your products check in by 15 June so that we can make sure that all your products are scanned and like received by our fulfillment center and will be ready for sale before Prime Day. So by 15 June, that will be the guaranteed date whereby we can make your products eligible for Prime and also will be able to get them ready for Prime Day. Okay, everything just work backwards from 15 June. So there are a couple of things like, FBA new selection program, how to create like FBA shipment. All the tutorials are actually on Seller University. So what you can do is log into your Seller Central account. Under Learn, there'll be a Seller University tab. Click into it and search for all the modules that you want to learn. And there will be handouts and video tutorials or PDF that you can refer to in order to understand more about how to go about these processes. But don't worry, if you have any questions, you can also reach out to your account manager like myself. So if you're facing any difficulty, feel free to reach out to us and ask us anytime and we'll help you to get through this process together. Okay, I think we have come to the end of this webinar. So first and foremost, I would like to share some of the QR codes that I have over here before I move on to the Q&A segment. So please help us to fill up a short survey so that you can tell us how we can improve our content to help you, be it on like Prime Day or how to help you sell better. Give us suggestions on like kind of like a few topics you want to learn about. So it's just a short 3 questions survey. Please help to fill that in. And we do have a couple of other Prime Day webinars that is upcoming. So it's under our Prime Day Bootcamp segment in our website. I think the next one would be a physical seller event if you are based in Singapore on 20th April. Otherwise, the next one should be in May. The full calendar all the way until June should be in this website. And if you don't know where to find Seller University via Seller Central, feel free to scan this QR code. Okay. There are also some additional QR codes over here on how you can manage your inventory. I think I'll take turns to like roll up and down so that you'll be able to have time to scan all the QR codes over here. So let me just put it over here first for a few more seconds or a few minutes before I move on to the next one. Okay. Let me see if there are any questions in the Q&A box. Okay, I see someone asked, IPI score only appear once I have FBA listing. Yes, because it tells you your inventory performance for your FBA active items. Yeah. If you join Prime Day, need to be FBA, cannot fulfilled by merchant. Yes, if you want to join Prime Day, you need to be on FBA program. Prime Day is essentially exclusive event for our Prime customers. So Prime customers buy products that are on FBA, right? So only FBA exclusive item can participate in those promotions like Prime exclusive discount or coupon and make it available for our Prime customers. Yeah. So your products will need to be on FBA. Yeah. In order to succeed on Amazon in general, most of our customers, if not like 90% of our sellers are using FBA, right? A fairly minimum of like sellers use FBM simply because maybe their products is like bulky, like if you are selling furnitures, then okay, you can like fulfill it by yourself. But if it's typically below like 30 kg, usually we'll advise sellers to use FBA instead, because most customers, if not yourself, when you purchase from an e-commerce platform, you like to receive your product within like 2 days, right? Or within a week. You won't want to wait like 8 to 14 days for a product. Can I use UBs as the deposit account? I'm not too sure what is this UBs. Is it like an e-wallet? Which bank account would you recommend for Singapore sellers to use for Amazon USA? So in general, all those typical Singapore bank accounts like DBS, uh, should be or OCBC, you should be able to use for Amazon US as long as they accept like multi-currency. Yeah. Does IPI score affect the chance getting into buy box? No. IPI score simply will affect kind of like maybe more of your inventory limit. Buy box, there's another different set of factors that they look in. For instance, like the price, whether you're on FBA, in order to determine your eligibility for buy box. Yeah. For UBs, I'm not too sure whether it'll be accepted. You could try. Yeah, you could try. I've heard like some sellers had some success using, if I think Payoneer or like even Wise. Maybe you can try using to see if it works. If not, I will still recommend you to use the typical bank account that everybody uses, like DBS or OCBC, like specifically for Singapore sellers. Yeah. For new seller, if my goods are arriving in May, does that mean I should factor enough inventory from May to August? That is 4 months. Yes, ideally 4 months. Uh, Typically, because you'll be too rushed. Let's say if your inventory sells out in July, right after Prime Day, then you'll lose the momentum of like your sales ranking, especially if like it's like idle or like OOS for like a month. So ideally, we'll recommend sellers to be well stocked at least until August so that you can keep the momentum running even post Prime Day. Yeah. For newbies using FBA, would it be advisable to send in more quantity per item or a varied range of product for a start? So there are very varied different strategies that I've heard from sellers, but the most common one would be sellers like to focus on like one or a few products to sell, and usually they'll inbound like 300 to 1000 units, simply because there's like a minimum order quantity when you get it from your supplier, right? So simply because of the MAQ, and because I would want your goods to be able to cover the demand for Prime Day, I would recommend you to send in more quantity again, such that you'll be able to cover the sales velocity all the way until August. If you're a new seller, you don't know what's the demand, don't know what's the sales velocity, what I can recommend you to do is to go to Opportunity Explorer, search for the product niche that you want to sell in, look at the typical sales velocity from there and estimate how many inventory you want to sell in, because different category and different niche, different product will have different demand. So I wouldn't be able to give you like a one size fit all answer. Yeah. If you don't know how to use Opportunity Explorer, or if you still need some confirmation from your account manager, feel free to reach out to us also. For FBA, is there a minimum weight or quantity required to be able to send into USA fulfillment center? There is no kind of like minimum weight or quantity, but rather there's kind of like a maximum weight restriction. Typically, oversized product, which is like more than 30 kg per unit kind, right? Reason being why we typically don't want you to inbound is because the shipment cost of like sending in your inventory all the way to the US warehouse will already be so expensive. There will be limited inventory limit for like oversized product, and also the fulfillment fee will be so expensive. I don't even know whether you'll justify your product cost. So typically, if it's like below 30 kg, it should be fine. Yeah, even if it's 500 gram, you also can sell. In fact, we have a FBA small and light program, so you can pay lesser for shipping in smaller products. Yeah. Can we still run Vine program during Prime Day for new sellers? Yes, you can run like Vine program any time of the year. Basically, the intention of Vine program is for you to get more reviews for your product listing. So hopefully it can help you increase your conversion. Actually, it's a good point. For those brand owners who are eligible to use Vine or enroll your products into Vine, I highly recommend you to start now and start enrolling your parent AC into Vine. Reason why I say so is because Vine reviewers usually take about 1 to 1.5 months to write your product reviews, right? So hopefully you'll be able to ramp up on your reviews before Prime Day, so that during Prime Day people see the reviews, they will have higher likelihood of purchasing. So start enrolling into Vine program if you haven't already done so. Okay, if we send FBA, is there any chance that the product is returned back again, and what is the reason for it? Could you explain on what kind of returns are you referring to? Is it customer return or the fact that your shipment is rejected? Yeah, because both of these are like two very different things, and I will have two very different answers. Okay, any other questions? I think I've answered most of the questions if not all of the question in the question box already. Okay, how to register and build a brand. So to introduce the concept of brand, so what we define as brand owners in Amazon is that you have a pending or registered trademark and will be able to register for Amazon brand registry. So if you have a registered or pending trademark in any of the eligible trademark offices, so for Southeast Asia, usually you'll be a Singapore trademark or you directly have a US trademark, you'll be able to enroll your trademark into brand registry to gain exclusive brand building tool access. So you'll be able to use like A plus content, stores, brand analytics, and many other advertising tools in order to grow your sales on Amazon. Right. So if you do not have a trademark, we do actually have a IP accelerator program that you will be able to find some of the IP firms that we have already pre-negotiated the rates, and you can directly get these IP firms to help you file a trademark before you can enroll into brand registry. So the good thing is filing a trademark might take 1 to 3 weeks. Then enrolling into brand registry might take about maybe 1 week. So in total, you should be able to enroll into brand registry within 1 month if you get your trademark now. So still in time for Prime Day if you're considering like this option. Will we get recordings for today's session? Yes, this session is recorded and we'll send a recording link after this session so that you'll be able to see. So don't worry. Return product from Amazon to us again. Okay, so let's say if you have already shipped into FBA and let's say if you want the products to be returned to you, you'll need to create a removal order so that you'll be able to file a case for the fulfillment center to pack and remove it to the warehouse where you want it to be delivered to. So typically if it's a international return, right, you have to engage an international provider for Amazon to for them to kind of like pick up and send it all the way back to your warehouse. To sell in Amazon.com, my trademark need to be recognized in US, or I can register in SG and use it for .com marketplace. So your trademark, typically, let's say if you want to sell on Amazon US marketplace, right, you can enroll any of the eligible trademark to get the brand building tool access. But if you wish to get if you wish to be protected in the US, right, you'll need to get a US trademark so that we'll be able to help you enforce all those counterfeits. So in the long run, it's always recommended for brand owners to file for a US trademark to protect your brand and sales in the long run. But for now, if you're a new seller, you're still new to this journey, you do not want to spend so much on US trademark because it might cost like 1,250 USD per classification. You might want to consider getting a Singapore trademark first. And from what I understand, if you want to file for a Singapore trademark, as long as you have a SingPass or CorpPass, you'll be able to file it for 280 SGD. So that might be a good start for your brand registry or brand owner journey. I see that you did not receive any recording from previous session. Could you share which session you're talking about? Because we do not record all of our session. Yeah. But specifically for this session, right, we'll be sending it via email, or we'll be uploading the recording link via our website so you can watch it anytime you want. Any more questions? I think I have like a couple more minutes over here. Any other questions from anyone here? If you do not have any question, please help to fill up the short survey, please, so that we'll be able to know how you feel about this webinar and how we can improve ourselves. It's only 3 questions to fill up before you leave if you have no questions. Yeah. By the way, if you all don't know who's your account manager, you can email in to us and we can help you check. Okay, if not, thank you everyone for joining us this session, and I will definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you so much for being attentive and all the questions. Have a lovely week. Bye.